Howdy, folks. WindyCityThetanWatch. We're in the studio tonight. Going to do a speed run of this past weekend. I'm not doing Saturday's video. We will do Saturday's video again because I think there was something important there. We saw it looked to be the farewell of Izzy Bagari Evans. Howdy, Style Audit. Howdy, Fuzzy. Thanks for being here. We're going to talk about the two videos that we did, or the two streams we did yesterday. They were pretty lengthy streams. We were out there for probably 5 or 6 hours. And then a little bit of conversation that DOA and I had. I want to let everybody know that the two of us did talk. We had some agreements, we had some disagreements. I don't really have any desire to get into the details of that. We both talked to one another, we listened to one another, we heard one another out, tried to give one another helpful criticism. I think that we were listening. And one of the things that I want to do to start off tonight is, let me kind of tell you what happened as the streams were ending yesterday. So after the streams ended, there were several protesters out there. I think there was 5 or 6 of us. And we headed over to the restaurant. We got some tacos, had a cocktail. And then afterwards, DOA lives out or his parents live out in the western suburbs. We took a train ride, or he had to take a train ride there. I walked him to the train station, and it just so happened that he had quite a bit of time before he had to get on the train. So we just sat down and had a conversation. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about a little bit here at the beginning. But then again, I want us to get a little bit more focused on, we're an anti-Scientology channel, right? And when DOA is anti-Scientology, I'm 100% a big fan of his. So, darn it. One second. My chair is being a jerk. All right. So we had a conversation at the train station, and then shortly after the train station, we got on a little bit of a train ride. I'll let you know that we talked about things that I don't ever want to talk about in public, and there's just no desire for that to be out here. He did disclose part of our conversation, and I'll say that, hey, it is what it is, what he's saying about the conversation. I'm not going to disclose any more details than that. I think that both of us will agree that we were both heard and we both listened to one another. So, that's kind of what it was. And again, I don't want anybody to be under the illusion that, I think that all of the world's problems are solved now. Right, I'm not Anwar Sadat, and the Carter trying to solve the Middle East peace crisis here. I'm just a guy who wanted to talk to somebody and say, hey, I think that you're an incredibly powerful person in this movement, and I would really love it if you could stay focused. And that's not really what it was, but the idea that I don't think he realizes the strength or the power that he has in that space. So. Let's start with, and hopefully DOA doesn't copyright strike me. I don't think he will. We had a good conversation here. But so this is right about here is DOA. He's on his ride home, heading out to his parents' house, and he's going to kind of disclose what we talked about.
Station, and got me a drink at the bar at the train station, and pretty much sat with me until the train came.
How's the volume?
Really appreciated the conversation with him. I'm guilty of trying to cancel him, allegedly. I was over Ellie. We had a big discussion about Ellie, which was really nice. He had some criticisms for me, and I appreciate the criticism. So I never even corrected that issue that I had with me saying I canceled him or want people to cancel him. So I apologize. I apologize to him. And so, it's I appreciate someone who could sit down and criticize me and give me props where props are needed. And I like Jay Rule. Yeah, and I'm not sure how I feel. Like he actually might have changed my mind a little bit on some things. So um, if you're not yet subscribed to his channel, he said he lost 10 subscribers because of me. So maybe we could pick up those other 10. He was very reasonable, and I really appreciate the criticism and the conversation.
All right, folks. I really do want to leave that there. I want to say that, hey, we both kind of talked to one another. We realized that we have some things that we do well and some things that we can improve upon. It was a good conversation. I've always been somebody that when somebody doesn't have to be on, and again, YouTube is a clicks and views media. You kind of have to play certain games in that situation. So that's all. Neither here nor there. But again, do I think that there's never going to be any problems in the anti-Scientology community ever again? Absolutely not. But I want to say that rational people spoke, and it seemed like there was a good conversation. Me and Taz. Yes, I do have my head on a swivel. I am watching some of the protesters that are out there. Where I live, there is really no chance of any kind of issues. Where I work, there's some overflow that could happen there, but during the middle of the day, that's probably not going to happen. Yeah. I do think that it's a place where you have to stay alert right now. That the DNC will always any kind of national community, any kind of national media attention that's this heightened that's here is going to bring out every kind of protest group in the world, because protesters have to go where the media is, right? So thanks for the warning, me and Taz. But hey, that's I'm definitely I understand that I need to keep my head on a swivel. So, all right. I'm going to pause that for a second. Now, all right. Does anybody have any further questions? And by the way, I'm probably going to say no comment to a lot of what you ask in regards to this, but any further questions about yesterday? Okay. And again, let's try and stay focused tonight, folks. I really appreciate that what we do in the crowd. So now on to Saturday. So I got there pretty early on Saturday, walked up to the org, and naturally, what's the first thing we want to do? We need to get those blinds shut. So let's go ahead and watch that.
So like you're part of a group, dissolve. All right, windows are open. We're going to take the blinds down. Let's see how long this takes, right? Okay, we've got, so this guy, a lot of times he'll go ahead and hit the door first. Let me see if there's anybody else over here. So there's nobody in the org right now, right? There are no publics in here.
All right, he's about to go to the door. I think it's I really like how when I do YouTube native, I don't know if it's because there was no clouds or there was no sun today, or if I'm doing YouTube native, but I like how we can clearly see into the org right now. And what are we noticing in the org? It's empty, right? Hopefully you're all seeing that. And one of the reasons that we believe they want to close those blinds. Yeah, excellent. Thank you. Right. Every time they close the blinds, they are against policy. And I remember, I'm guessing it was Michael Andreas or else Patrick Skinner, that there is there's a policy that says we're not supposed to hide. And in essence, that's what they're doing when they do this. All of their avoidance tactics are hiding, and that's anti-policy. That's against policy in regards to Scientology. So I do it because it makes the place look uninviting, right?
There's nobody in the cafeteria over there. Let's see if he's going to go up to the front door first. Yeah, so right. Care to share anything about your church? Anything positive about your church? If you ever want out, I can help you. Just come out and ask me. So they do have another table set up today. And again, I think that that's because they're going to do recruiting. So this one, we know this guy, he was the one that used to wear the white leather coat. This one, we've seen him forever. I just don't have a name on either of these two. The one that's on the right, he is definitely somebody who will body route. He was probably getting ready to body route right now. Something that we've seen him evolve over, is that.
Right. So again, one of the first things I do every time that I get there is I establish this. We're going to get these blinds down. Okay. Today there was an interesting scenario with the blinds that I was able to get the blinds down twice, but we'll understand why a little bit later. Then just I later on was walking down the street. I didn't notice this when I was approaching the org, but
found something else here. So
they must have been passing stuff out last night.
Somebody had a Scientology Direct TV, so they were passing out the business card here. How did I not see this, right? So again, I don't think that I have to be out here doing this job because I think that the people are smart enough not to come down here. But yeah, we're definitely seeing people are throwing out.
The next thing we saw somebody is, so I'm talking to, let me pause this for a second. I've seen a guy get out of a car. He's looking around, let's say confused, like he doesn't really know where he's at. And eventually we're going to find out that he's a food delivery person. So he's kind of trying to understand, is this the right place that I'm supposed to be and all of that stuff. I think we're also going to find out that he's English as a second language because later on he'll say he knows little English, something of that nature. At this point, I don't know that. He's getting out of the car. I've given him the card because it looks like he's trying to figure out what is this place. I've given him my card. Hopefully he'll use that. He did put it in his pocket. And then we're going to kind of go forward on this conversation, but I'm just trying to warn him that, it's a dangerous place.
Do you ever want to learn anything about abuses? So there you'll find a bunch of stories about the things they do wrong. So the abuses, mental abuses, the physical abuses, child abuses, human trafficking. And then that xenu.net is a website where you can see a lot more of the abuses and terrible theories that they put forward. So I would say be very, very careful.
Then he's going to kind of go to the front door.
Give him your real name and number. Don't give him your real name and number.
And again, I think he's a public. Just
don't give him your real name. You'll never get off their mailing list.
Yeah, so he's very little English. He doesn't understand English.
Unfortunately, he doesn't know much English.
Again, I'm now a little bit sad because I feel like, I wasn't able to prevent this guy from going in. In a couple of seconds, we're going to find out that, he's just a delivery guy, right? And a few moments later, we are going to see that the custodian, one of the custodians, there's 3 different guys that wear a custodial outfit in this organization. And this is one of them. I'm going to give this guy a little bit of the clear cog and all the fun stuff that goes on there.
Are you still mocking your own reactive mind? You should stop that. If you stop that, you'd be clear. Do you have anything positive to share about your church? Es una secta? Nothing positive about the cult? If you want out anytime, let me know. I can help you.
So hopefully now you've heard for the second time that I definitely encourage these people, if they ever want out, all they have to do is ask me and I can help them try to get in contact with the agencies that would be able to help them in this regard. Okay. Now we go several minutes longer and we've got a Scientologist coming back from lunch. And this is going to be one of our blue vests.
Anything you'd like to share about the church? Anything positive about the church? We can help you out anytime you want to.
If anybody's under the radar or knows who this person is, please send me a name. Let me know.
We've got a couple more people coming down the street.
Solomon's mom, and Israel arrive.
Showing up.
So, and again, I'm very glad that Solomon's mom was with him. I think it's a much safer way to have him out here doing this. I love that he's interested in journalism. I love that he's interested in cop watching. I would just like to see him actually age a little bit in this regard. So, and it's the appearance of impropriety. I don't want to be hanging around with thinking that I think it's okay for less than 18, minors to be out and about on their own. And my age compared to his age, it's the look of impropriety. So unless his mom's around, I really feel uncomfortable kind of hanging out with him. So, and that's not a knock against him. It's just the idea that, hey, there's an age difference here, and rather be safe than sorry. Now we're going to see something that I always hate whenever I'm in Scientology. So if we look really closely, you're going to see the door is on the right-hand side. The back door of Scientology on the right-hand side. We're going to see a father and his 3 children come out. And when you see the age or size of this youngest child.
So now we just saw a family of 4 walk out the back of Scientology. So they did leave Scientology. How old is that youngest child? Right?
What is he, 4? Right? He doesn't know that I'm here yet.
What kind of church do you sneak out the back in? That's really odd.
Right. Why do you have to sneak out the back of this place?
Children can't consent, right?
And now he's going to he sees that, oh my gosh, and he's hustling the kids up, trying to get them to speed up. The oldest one, the boy that's in the back, he just really has no interest in walking fast. So it's like, it's just odd, right? But again, I understand that these are not Sea Org children, but there are children in Scientology. This is no evidence that there are children in Sea Org anymore, but this is 100% evidence there are children in Scientology, right? It's very likely that these kids just came out of probably Purif, if they were there, or the parent was doing one of these elements, and these children are going to be indoctrinated in cult beliefs, right? It is dangerous that this behavior exists. The next one, it's going to be back in the alley. And I just come across, I think she's public, who has just left, and she's trying to sneak down the alley. And again, that there was something going on yesterday, that they had the potluck. Well, eventually we find out that it's a potluck lunch, but there were a lot of people there, and they're trying to sneak people out the back, right? And you're going to see that as this person comes down, she realizes, I'm here. I want to play what I believe the other half of that conversation was. Hey, stop. Don't go any further. Turn around. Come back here, right? And she just has that look of disbelief. What do you mean I can't be there? We get to confront and shatter. And this woman is called back to Scientology, right?
So I wonder, so she's upset.
She's really visibly upset.
Yeah, I think you'll be able to see it clearly. I don't know if she's being told to come back to the org. This feels like the reaction that I had in St. Paul, right?
Yeah, so you can just tell that this woman is not at all happy. Now, I hurry up because, right, she's going down to the far end of the alley. I'm going to go all the way around the block, and I'm going to get down there faster than her. See her again. At this point, she's standing still. I don't want to get any closer to her. I don't want to confront her, right? I don't like to close ranks on somebody who isn't passing out flyers in this process.
That's right. We just saw this woman. She wanted to leave the organization through the top of the alley.
I'm going to speed you up until she starts moving.
Hey guys, the other direction.
And again, I have cause over mess.
Have you not learned how to confront and shatter? Communication is the universal solvent. Let's start a cycle.
She's going to walk down the alley or this last street. I'm not going to follow her any further. But again, that idea that says, if you are such a strong people, right? Scientology is building the most ablest people in the universe. You can't even walk up to me. You have to turn whenever I show up. Who has control or cause over messed, right? I don't think that Scientology or Scientologists have cause over messed. We're gonna have another example of cause over messed. Now, these two are a little more resistant than most. You're going to see, right? You can see you've got the white shirt and the vest on the one side, and then the other person is in civilian clothing. They're both having a smoke, right? They're just a smoke break out in front of the organization. I'm out here, and normally, as soon as I approach, they're going to scatter, but they're persistent today.
Care to share anything positive about your church?
So this is the first time people have ignored me and stayed, right? So they're not going to answer me, but they're not moving away yet. I
Now,
have
nothing
another
positive
trick up
about
my
the Church of
sleeve.
Scientology? This might quite see it that far yet. Now we're seeing definitely storage spaces. Are you okay that women can't report crimes against them in this church? Doesn't that seem wrong? Are you allowed to talk about the church? That makes it a cult, just so you're clear.
So I finally remember I have another weapon.
So long ago, Xenu rounded up all of the bad Thetans in the galaxy far away, right? Brought all of those Thetans here to Earth, put the Thetans in volcanoes, blew them up with atomic bombs, hydrogen bombs, my mistake. They were frozen. Anything positive to share about the church?
So they must not know about the wall of fire because they can't listen to the wall of fire. Hopefully I didn't give them pneumonia.
Are you still mocking your reactive mind?
You can kind of just tell that he's annoyed, right, by this whole process. But again, that at first I was like, that's odd. I'm not used to them staying here if I'm even present, right? But again, remembering that there are some other words that I can use and cause them to have to leave. Now, this is going to be the last thing before I go to lunch. We are going to see a couple of Scientologists. Right, so here you see the woman with the cart stroller. She's got some food in there. To our left is going to be a very well dressed gentleman and a lady. She's got a beautiful blue dress on. He's in all white with a nice white hat. And I'm going to ask a question of the person walking down the street, and the person getting out of the car is going to react.
Anything positive to share about the church today? Is there really nothing positive about this cult? Is it okay that women can't report crime?
So, right, she says, "Excuse me," when I say cult, right? 1 second. TK, you have to email me. I'm not going to broadcast it on here, but if you email me, WindyCityThetanWatch@gmail.com, I can let you know when I'll be and what areas I'll be in. So thank you. So, right, this, she first says, "Excuse me," and now she's actually going to listen to me a little bit, and there's going to be a fourth character that comes by and does what we're used to from Scientology.
When they're sexually abused by members of this church, why is Danny Masterson still a member? Why is Danny Masterson still a member in good standing of this church? He raped 3 women in this church, and he is still a member of this church. L. Ron Hubbard believed people are color of degraded beings. You're supporting human trafficking.
I'm always surprised when people hear that and still go in. because if you're a female, if you were a male, but if you're a female, how can you abide by the fact that your church won't let you go to the police if something happens to you and they're trying to protect other members of the church? Just absolutely horrible, in my opinion, that's available. All right, I'm going to pull this one down. Let's do a quick little switch over to the afternoon. Sorry. So let me pull that back up on stage. Wait, before I pull it up on stage, I'm going to go fuller screen, add to stage. All right, so I've gone away to lunch. In the meantime, DOA has arrived. A couple of things. DOA went to a bodega, and at the bodega, there was a couple of piles of Way to Happiness books. And he challenged the clerk, hey, why are these here? So I wanted to see that. And then, they were talking a little bit, and there was some misinformation. This isn't the financial district; it's Printers Row, but neither here nor there. But nonetheless, I've come back from lunch now, and this is me meeting DOA for the first time.
Too much time into what they are, and well, let's see. Right, so the blinds are still closed. Everything's still closed here. Got Defender Vance. Hey, how you doing?
I'm Scotty.
Windy. Paul. How you doing? Hi, good to see you. How you doing? So I think it's a potluck lunch that they're having because they came in and it's possible that it's
yeah, so I'm kind of just giving them the lowdown of what I understand from before I went to lunch. But now we're seeing DOA here, and again, when DOA is protesting, I'm his biggest fan. I just want to say that right now, that when Scientology is in his crosshairs, I like what he can do. Right, he's got a powerful voice and a large following. And we're also seeing Never and Nana. So Never and Nana was also there, and I think in a couple of seconds we're going to see Corn Freak and Dip Me in Glitter show up.
Here.
Oops. Let me see if I give you guys a good shot of this or not. While they're going to, say hello to one another, I'm going to go see if there's activity around back or anything like that. Darn it.
Nana.
So we've got Corn right there.
Dip Me in Glitter, DOA. And it sounds like
yes.
Oh, really? I'm gonna head.
I'll show you. We'll see Dip later on.
So since we have people standing in front, right? Let's let them see if they can confront anybody walking in the front door.
A little while later, right? I'll come back. We're going to costume up.
Yeah. Oh,
this was fun stuff.
Yeah,
I felt so far.
Right, but it's going to make people stop, and when they stop, it gives us a
DOA is
a
person who
to help
sweats,
them, educate them on what's going on.
It's very humid out today, and him going into this costume, I'm like, oh, you are going to sweat like crazy in there.
Don't. Let me see. I might have small stuff, like maybe something close to a butter knife. 1 second.
Yeah, keep your head out of it until you get it. Otherwise,
so they're working around, getting everything set up there. Next is we're going to see a Scientologist approaching,
or no, leaving,
and I'm going to try to confront them.
Anything positive to share about the church? Nothing positive to share about your church?
This person is actually on the phone.
Such a great
organization. See the red light
nothing
lit
positive
on his phone.
About it. That doesn't sound
Thank
right,
you, Lori,
does it?
for subbing over to Dip. There we see Kenny / DOA. You're seeing Dip Me and Glitter in the back.
It doesn't come in that size.
I swear to God that Corn was going to wet herself. She just could not stop laughing, and it was such. Again, when people have fun out in front of the organization, that is a telling sign to Scientologists. The idea that, look, you guys are in there so somber and have such a terrible life, and look at these people out here just having a great time, right? Oops. Let's see.
Howdy, Lori. Welcome back.
Now we're going to come back to everybody in costume. That riding the squirrel, it looks so realistic. And now, okay, so just in case you guys don't remember, Aaron did a short, and I've started to incorporate it in a lot of my work, but Aaron's got a short that tells us that there are no new members in Scientology. I'll kind of give you a clip of that real quick.
And the people that I've been in touch with have said not a single brand new person has gotten into Scientology in Chicago since the grand opening of that building.
I loved it. And I feel very good about that. And again, I don't want anybody to think that I'm the one that's doing this, right? I'm part of, I'm one of many people who are helping to do this, right? So we've seen them: Corn Freak, Never In Nana, Nance Drew, Shannon, while she's no longer protesting, but she was a big part of this. Trashy V12 BMW, SRA, Severe Reality Adjustment. I'm not intentionally forgetting anybody. If I'm not mentioning somebody, it's truly by accident that we're not seeing that. Howdy, Manning 8, great to see you. So right, I've just shown you that video, and it's Aaron telling us that through his sources there are no new members in Chicago since their grand opening. Remember, they spent hundreds of millions of dollars to acquire and to renovate this building. You can see. Let me show up here, right? You can see the feet of a guy who's coming down the alley. Oh, if I back it up a second, let's do that. Right, you can see a guy coming down. He's a public. I can tell that he's a public. He's going to come down the alley, and then I'm going to play a video for him. So here he comes.
And I'm actually going to play. Thank you, Annette. I really appreciate it.
I'm dickering with the phone. That's why I don't have him in focus yet. But he's just about to round the corner.
I'm going to play the...
And the people that I've been in touch with have said not a single brand new person has gotten into Scientology in Chicago since the grand opening.
Not a single brand new person has entered Scientology in Chicago since the grand opening. Hundreds of millions of dollars.
But why do they hide?
How's that ideal org working out for us?
I like that message right there. That idea that says, hey, you guys spent a heck of a lot of money on these ideal orgs, and you were supposed to grow exponentially. There are no new members in Scientology, right, in this space. Just a couple minutes later, we're going to see two staff members come out of the org, and they're going to head to the south end. And I'm going to walk briskly to kind of catch up to them.
So, folks, I just want to remind you about how good Scientology is.
See how they turned around smiley? They didn't know who it was.
Not a single new person in Chicago. Chicago is failing. Scientology is failing.
Behind these walls lies the promise of spiritual freedom.
Don't worry, all the other orgs are failing too.
I just like that message, right? So this next clip, remember, we've got, hey, Indigo, how you doing? Great to see you. And yes, oops, 100% protesting does make a difference, right? So what we've got here, right? One of the things is with all these costumes, yeah, it's cute and it's funny and everything like that, but it makes people stop, right? People are curious, they'll stop, and now there's a chance for us to engage, right? So between DOA, Korn, and Never In, they're chatting with this guy. I don't think he's really paying attention too much. In a couple of seconds, we're going to see two publics walk out. I'm going to do two things, right? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play for them my new favorite clip. But then I realize they're trying to safe point this fellow. So let's kind of watch how this plays out.
Caught him in back. He tried to go out the back. So I got to play this for him as well. I got to play this for everybody out there.
So you just see the two Scientologists walked out. This is strange. They never would walk, historically, they would never walk towards the protesters. But here they come.
And the people that I've been in touch with have said not a single brand new person has gotten into Scientology in Chicago since the grand opening.
Not a single brand new person has joined Scientology in Chicago since the grand opening. You're failing.
So they can absolutely hear that, right? So they heard what the phone speaker was giving, right? And it's not a loud phone speaker, but I was walking close enough for that. Now, remember, we're also seeing the guy in yellow just in front of them, and I don't really pay too much attention until I realize what's going on.
But why do they hide?
So I can tell that they're facing one another. So they're talking, they're giggling. She's just leaned over laughing. And
So
it's
the
sort of like,
person that
I
he,
know, right? Because they're making fun of the people
The
down in
person
the
that DOA
costumes
was
there.
talking to.
So I'm going to run up there real quick.
Yeah. Did they let you know about the human trafficking and the idea that Danny Masters sends in jail for 30 years to life, but he's still a member in good standing of that church because he raped 3 of their members? The members who went forward to the police, talking to anybody who wants to listen to fun stories about the cult of Scientology.
I'm going to have an opportunity to interview this guy. He's going to talk to me for a little bit.
Yeah, it sounds terrible, doesn't it? But that's their organization, and they're out trying to promote it to others. Yeah. Here, let me give you an information card.
Who's they?
Church of Scientology. That woman that you just saw,
Yeah.
she's with a member of the Church of Scientology. So this person lost their life because of mental abuse. They put her in a room, locked her up.
Lori
She
McPherson.
died 17 days after they locked her in the room.
Oh, shit.
The next one, he's an auditor. He at 14, he had to
Serge
sit
Delmar.
in rooms and listen to adults tell them most perverse things.
So where's your source come from? Like, I mean,
Ex-Scientologist. So
He
this
asked me where my
person
source
is no longer
came
a Scientologist. He's alive today.
So he's like a whistleblower.
He used to be, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh shit.
If you go to that page, you'll see that there's 15, 20 articles on that cult.
She seems so innocent.
Absolutely correct.
Did you? So she seems so innocent, right? And again, that's what Scientology is supposed to do. That they're supposed to look very friendly, very engaging, right? They're not. They have to be stone-faced to an SP, but to a non-SP, they are incredibly, remarkably engaging people, right? And she seemed so innocent.
So at the lowest level, it seems really nice. But think about any cult. It's the boiling frog, right? You put the frog in the water when it's cool, right?
Good news. He doesn't like any cults, so that's good.
Like, shit. Oh my god, bro! Like, I am gonna read into it.
I really appreciate it. Again, it's not.
Thank you.
I don't like that they are deceptive. That if you want to believe in what they believe in, that's fine.
No, I mean,
It's
no.
the abuses that I just can't tolerate.
I'm a scientist myself. I'm
He said
really,
scientist,
Right.
not a Scientologist.
Right.
of what I do. Like, I don't believe in, like Jesus or shit like that. I believe in the earth, Mother Earth,
Yep.
and Father Universe.
Repeatable scientific methods, right?
Thank you for sharing. Like I'm a scientist. So
Right.
this
And
kind
plus,
of-
it says Scientology, which is a deceptive. So it's right
This
the study of
behavior-
science.
this behavior does not condone it.
Correct. Excellent.
shit.
I appreciate that.
All right,
Cool.
I will-
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
People ask me all the time, isn't it futile, right? Am I going to shut down Scientology? I am not going to shut down. I understand that. As long as we're all clear, I have no aspersions that say I'm going to shut down Scientology. I am going to make it incredibly difficult for them to be able to lie to the public. And now this person is going to take the information that he just heard from me and he's going to tell his friends, oh my gosh, do you know what I heard today? Did you see what happened here? So El Sarmento, I really appreciate that. Thank you. It means a lot. You know, I do like those accolades. It's an awesome dopamine hit. I will tell you, anytime I capture paraphernalia or propaganda, it's a dopamine hit. Anytime I'm able to challenge a Scientologist on their beliefs, it's a dopamine hit, right? Let's see here. So we remember just before I went to lunch, there was the couple, right? You can see the woman in the blue dress and the man in the black hat sitting there on the curb. I thought they were just going to get in their car and leave. She turns around and she's going to engage with the people that are here. By the way, this is let's kind of go around the room here. On the very far right-hand side, you've got Solomon's mother. And behind that, there's a couple that Israel has been chatting with because they came up curious about what is Scientology all about. You're seeing the back of Dip Me in Glitter. You're seeing Solomon sitting there on the curb. Never in Nana has the gray top. DOA, Scotty is headless in his Kenny uniform, and Korn is there in the alien costume. Now we're going to see these two. The man really doesn't want anything to do with this. And Korn mentioned on I don't remember if it was at a comment or a statement somewhere that she heard that he got a phone call and says they're just trying to interbulate you. But let's let this play out.
He acted very poorly to my calling them a cult.
Folks, I have an itchy nose tonight. I don't know why I keep on itching my nose. Must have snorted a puppy. So, you know, I just, she was looking to engage, right? If we, let me see if I can replay it again. Nobody has engaged her yet. She is looking to engage. So she's taking Dianetics, and it's been helpful to her. Her mentor told her that this might be helpful to her.
Do you know everything about the church? Do you know everything? Or just like the basics?
So Israel asks if she knows everything, and the actual answer is no.
Well, besides not this, what about like?
I just want to say that Israel has a line of questioning. It's not the line of questioning I would go after, but I don't want to step on what he's saying, but because if two people are talking, no message is getting through. So I'm being patient here, waiting until there's kind of a gap in the conversation, and then I'm going to try and ask her a few questions.
What about like the fact that children
No, so what happens is
so she hears
children,
child abuse and
they'll audit.
automatically
They do
thinks
auditing.
Catholic Church.
It's similar to confession in Catholic Church. But an adult will come into the room and they can tell them the most perverse stories. That child has to listen to it. When you're talking about Dianetics, part of Dianetics is right that they're going to keep you thinking, and it's the modern health. That in this process, that child has to sit there and listen to the abuses of this adult in that space, and they don't consider that to be child abuse. Right? These audit rooms, right? They don't have to report. They don't have to report. They're not. It's not like a school teacher. They don't have to report abuse.
Do you do this at the Catholic Church?
I will say that.
This is what what about so-and-so and what about so-and-so, right? And the idea that I protest Scientology does not mean that they're the only evil element in the universe, right? As I've told many of you before, when we get rid of Scientology, I'll go protest who you want to protest. But until then, I'm going to stick with Scientology, right? So that's kind of her first defense is, well, if it's okay for the Catholics, isn't it good for us, right?
The Catholic Church atoned for what they said. They realized that what they did was wrong, and they paid out. They've never confessed to anything they've done wrong in
And
this
if the
space.
Catholic Church was doing it, both of us would be. Other than Tory, in my own community,
They're not doing it anymore.
Correct.
if we knew of some abuse,
Correct, that we know of. And again, if somebody comes out and says it, but we do know people are doing it in this church. Do you know Danny Masterson? So Danny Masterson's an actor.
very famous.
He's that 70s show. It's a young white person's show.
90s.
But yeah, he's a very famous actor. He's a member of this church. He's in jail right now for 30 years to life. He sexually abused 3 members of this church. He actually sexually abused 7. He was charged with 3, and he was found guilty of 2. He's in jail for 30 years to life for that.
Wait, yeah, one second. Listen to what he's
Let's-
saying.
Again,
let's
why do I
worry
care about the
this
Catholic
first.
priest?
So he's still a member in good standing with this church.
It's
the victims,
okay for your church.
They
to
were
have
kicked
people
out of the
with
church when they
sexual
told the
abusers?
police.
For reporting.
So just to be clear, that's what you're headed into here. And I agree. At Dianetics, it seems like this reasonable sounding effort. Everything from this point forward is going to cost you money. It's if they give you on the bridge to total freedom, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and
Hundreds of
you're supporting
thousands of
human
dollars.
trafficking and you're supporting child abuse, right? And I agree that yes, there are other places. This is who I choose to protest. That doesn't mean that everybody else in the world is fine, but should I accept this?
I just want to add one thing to what you were saying, just to make sure it's on topic, and then I want to hear what you have to say. In 2008, I lost a friend. Now, besides the fact that there was difficulty, and I'm not going to get into details about like how that friend passed and everything else, but obviously you can imagine what I'm saying, right? The most painful part wasn't even his passing. You know what the most painful part was? This place disconnects you from your family if they're not a part of it. So let's say like this. I grew up in the Jewish community, right?
I like watching
I have
DOA in the
a baby in
background
my
dancing
family.
around.
My siblings are trans.
And look at the husband.
Borna, female, now
He's
it's
getting
gay.
messages from the church
I'm
right now.
ultra Orthodox Jewish. We're talking about like the most right-wing religious people. When my now brother was born, my sister,
Scientologist
my
sneaking
brother
out the other
came back
door.
to the community, hugs and kisses, love the same way they love me. They didn't try to disconnect us from him. He shows up every day. We're there for him. If he needs any charity or something like that for a doctor bill, the community will pay for it. They don't care. They're not trying to do anything. They're not trying to destroy it. My friend, for that last year of his life, his parents never got to mourn him. You know why?
She probably also
Because
just
they
got a
never
text
even
saying,
got to
"Get away from them."
experience that last bit of his life because he was disconnected. It's not even about that. They're nothing.
So now it's politics.
There'll be any
Right.
supporter that can do
Yeah,
their
they'll change. They'll flip flop as much as possible. No, I don't really care to talk about politics, but
This is not about politics. I
and-
want to be very clear. Zero to politics. It's very simple. It's what he said.
so here's a few people. Lisa McPherson. If you can have this card. Lisa McPherson. She had a mental breakdown.
did
She had a
keep the
car
card.
accident in Clearwater, Florida. She was stopped by the ambulance. The ambulance took her to the hospital. Scientology came in, made her leave against medical orders. They bound her. They locked her up in a room. 17 days later, she went into crisis. They couldn't get her back to the hospital. She died at their hands. That is the reason I'm here, right? Serge Del.
I like, and that's the reason you're here. Well, isn't that enough of a reason? Right? What do we need, right? That it just bothers me that somebody would say, "Oh, and that's the reason you're here." Big whoop. So what if somebody died, right? And so what if it was the responsibility of this church?
Delmar, the next one on there. He's one of the child auditors. He's still alive. That person escaped the church, and he's the one that helps us understand what happens in child
So
auditing.
think about that for a second. These are not accusations of people that might exist in the world. We know these people personally. DOA, the guy in the costume right now, is bringing attention to it. He literally spent time for the last 7 months.
His girlfriend was forced to do labor when she was a child in this
When
church.
she was a child, his girlfriend was forced to do physical labor. He was forced to sit in front of men and talk about that whole type
I don't
of-
think Laura
can't
was an
even talk
auditor.
about this on YouTube. I'll get, you know what I'm saying?
I do
Yeah,
know that she
had
was forced into
children.
child labor.
That was no problem. They had no problem with that here. No problem. That was like no big deal to them. That's not a problem. No, that's good. You know what they say about children? You say it. What do they say about children?
They're just adults in small bodies. They believe in reincarnation. I do agree, and I
There's bad actors everywhere, so it's okay that I know that these people do something wrong. So the other people do things wrong too. So isn't it okay? Right? It feels like in my day, if your friend jumped off a bridge, would you jump off a bridge? Right?
I agree that I
I've gotten good stuff from it.
and that's good. I'm glad to hear that. I just want to tell you that right. Be careful, and the idea that there's a part of me that says, by you spending money on the Dianetics book, you're helping these other crimes happen, right? And I understand that if I donated to the Catholic Church, I'm helping those, and it is a reason why I don't donate to the Catholic Church. And I know there's other bad actors in the world. It's just that I can't defend against the world.
Can you say
I
what
can't
you-
defend
Now
against
the
the
husbands,
Can you say what you said?
we got to go, honey.
Wait, why don't you tell her how you said, like, well, you guys have a good one. I just like what you said.
trying to remember what that.
It's so amazing to me that people will defend, right? Well, but other people do it too. It's like, that doesn't mean that doing it is okay, right? By the way, I don't think that it's okay for Catholic priests to abuse children, right? That because I don't protest in front of the Catholic Church doesn't mean that I'm accepting of child abuse. I do know that it's happening here, and I want to stop it here. By the way, again, if after we get rid of Scientology, we head over to the Catholic Church and we start protesting them for further child abuse. Now, again, I'm not an idiot. I do believe that child abuse still occurs there. I do think that there were well-placed, highly powerful Catholic members who never took a pain from or a penalty in regards to what's going on, that they were protected by, whether it be the pontiff or others in that space. But for the most part, they did try to clean out the church, right? Do I think it still happens? Probably, but it's not a church, right? If you look at it, you'll find policy that says you're supposed to be doing these kinds of things. So, Fuzzy, I'm having a hard time doing the 2 channels I've got. I actually know people from Westboro Baptist. All right. So this is kind of the end of what goes on here. We end up going over to the taco place. We have some dinner. We talk for a bit. Just all 5 of us are having 5 or 6 of us, plus Heli Gear shows up. So that was fun. And then, like I said, I walked DOA back to the train. Hey, that's not all. But wait, there's more. Let me take that off screen for just a second. And we were out there again today. Why am I not seeing? One second. I need to edit one thing real quick. I promise to be right back. I'm actually going to stay here. So, hey, let's fill up that chat with interesting questions. Live. Where's today? Here's today. Turns out if you put chapters in and you make a misspelling, okay, there it goes. Gotcha. All right. This morning, we went back out there, right? Or this afternoon, we went back out there. Let me maximize that. The first thing I'm going to do is, I mentioned to you that DOA was able to find some flyers in a bodega. I'm going to try to hit that bodega first and see if we can find those flyers.
August 19th. Shift.
I'm speeding you up past here. So, right, that Bonovino pizza sign, remember seeing that from when DOA went into the bodega, and the only bodega is at the corner of this street.
Business cards.
Or we're open 24/7.
Also, I just don't even really know if this was the place that it happened.
I'm going to walk in here. And so that's the counter where DOA saw the flyers. So one of many things must have happened here. Maybe the clerk yesterday was okay with it, but the clerk today isn't okay with it. Maybe Scientology saw yesterday's video and decided, hey, we better get rid of that quickly. By the way, that's not what it was. It's very possible that, right, hey, there's this little free thing on the counter. some of the patrons who came in, got their soda, got their chips, got their cigarettes, maybe just picked them up so they were consumed. But for whatever reason, there are no flyers here anymore. If there's no flyers here, I don't really have a conversation point where I can talk to them about what's going on here. So, I'm going to walk past this process. I will visit the store more often now that I know that this is a place where they're going to hide flyers. Then we go out and we're approaching the org. You can see a gentleman in the middle of the sidewalk right now. That is Chad Olson. As soon as he sees me, he's going to...
We'll head down there.
got to go close the door, right? He's going to go start closing the org up.
I want to kind of see if I can bring up...
I wanted to have the no new Chicagoans
what I was
video
showing
ready.
The people yesterday, right? The no new members. So he's already trying to close up. So let's get down there. Okay, he's pulled the blocks on the door here.
So we don't get an opportunity today to look in the front doors, but we get to pull the blinds.
Hey, Chad. So, right, we've got Chad closing the blinds because, again, all cults have to hide from public. If you've got a cult, right, you don't want the public to see your cult. So you've got to take the shades down. Yes, there are people walking behind me. There was no public in there. We saw Chad walk in.
Empty
Chad
as,
did have flyers
empty as can be in there. Nobody goes to Scientology.
We've got the administrative person here at the desk. Not really seeing anybody in the cafeteria.
Thank you so much.
So the cult has to hide from the public, right? They got to pull down the shades. If you're a cult, you don't want the public to see what you're doing inside. And it's terrible for people to see that their $100 million building is entirely empty. Again, a lot of that commentary is for... Anything positive to share about your church?
Yep.
Nothing positive about the cult of Scientology? Are you okay that there have been no new members in Chicago since the grand opening? You're an entirely ineffective ideal org after spending hundreds of millions of dollars?
The guy in the light blue
those
kind of
stats.
turned back a few times when I was talking to her. The next thing, we're going to see the staff, and it turns out I think it's a photographer. Right, he's got a camera on his waist, and we're going to see some photography gear later on. But we're going to see a staff member and somebody else come out, and we're going to engage them at the parking meter.
So Chadwick came back out when I went down the street.
Now, no idea who the other uniform member is. I think we will see him later on when we talk to Chadwick or see Chadwick.
Are you okay that women can't report crimes against them in this church? You know, you're supporting human trafficking, child abuse. Look up Lisa McPherson. Why did Lisa McPherson die so quickly at their hands?
I think I said Lori McPherson earlier in the stream. Sorry, Lisa McPherson.
And while Lisa McPherson wasn't associated with this organization pays for that organization to exist. L. Ron Hubbard said the best way to control people is to lie to them. So you've been lied to. Are you still mocking your own reactive mind? You could go clear if you would just stop mocking your own reactive mind. Remember when Zeno
I always wonder if people are trying to get a mortgage out of these parking
in the faraway
machines.
galaxy, and he put them on a DC-10, brought them to Earth in a frozen state, dropped them in volcanoes, and blew them up with hydrogen bombs. That's the space opera that you believe in. And then you've got the crimes on top of that. How much money does it take to go up the bridge? The bridge to complete financial collapse. Danny Masterson is a member in good standing. He's in jail for 30 years to life, having abused 3 of the members of this church. He actually abused 7 to 10 of them. Only 3 of them went to court. 2 of them he was convicted on. He is still a member in good standing. When those victims came forward, to the police, Scientology threw them out. They can no longer talk to their family. Disconnection. So that's the cult that you're trying to work for.
Howdy, L. Ron Hubcult.
Nothing positive to talk about your cult today?
I want to pause real quick. L. Ron Hubcult and Scientology up north. They yesterday and today there was an article, and I think there's a book. I don't know if it's the same person involved in the news article as well as the book, but an ex-Scientologist talking about how he was abused in the church, and the newspaper allowed for Scientology to respond or have a response in there. And I might have some of that incorrect, but roughly that's the story, right? That the newspaper did a kind of a story of an ex-Scientologist telling us about some things that went wrong in this space, or some things that went wrong in his life based upon Scientology, and then they gave Scientology an opportunity to respond. And it was very funny, and I told Scientology up north the same thing this afternoon. I could tell that L. Ron Hubcult wanted to say so many things, but but Scientology up north was definitely putting the kibosh on it. It was very fun. It was fun to watch both of them kind of squirm, in the idea that, hey, we can only say so many things before we lose money on this process. And by the way, it is, I do think that it's tragic that you can't say certain things on YouTube, but it's very arbitrary. There are other things that you can say on YouTube, and it's like, wait, how is this word good and that word not good? Regardless. L. Ron Hubcult, love that you guys brought forward the story both yesterday and today. And I think you guys are doing a fabulous job out there in the Netherlands. So we've seen this photographer go in, right? And at this point, I've seen the camera, so I assume that he's a photographer. We're going to go away for quite a while, and we're going to find Chadwick. I'm just out wandering. Every once in a while, I'll take a fluke and I'll see if I can go out on the streets, and I'll wander, and I'm going to come across our friend Chadwick.
Good news. State Street. And I saw him hand off a flyer.
So he's way up there,
Hi,
the dark spot on the corner, and I'm waving to him right now. He knows that his day is done.
So he's probably going to start heading back to the org, but I do want to see if I can catch up to the person that he did hand the flyer off to.
I never could find that person. I'm sorry for giving you guys all the spoiler alerts.
Guess when I try.
So here's our man Chad. He's got a stack of Dianetics flyers in his hand.
Might as well go back now, Chad.
He's going to stop a couple of times on this, and I think he's just pissed because I keep on telling him that I'm cause over messed.
Has gotten into Scientology in Chicago since the grand opening of that building.
And hopefully you just heard, I just played for him again, Aaron saying, and I've got people in Chicago that have said not a single person has joined Scientology in Chicago since they've opened.
Not a single new person has gotten into Scientology in Chicago since the grand opening of the building. Hundreds of millions of dollars gone.
Yeah, that's right. L. Ron Hubcult, get yourself a plane ticket.
Style Audit says hi.
This stop is interesting, right? Maybe it's him trying to say, see, I have control over him in that space.
I am not going to tell him the snarky comments that you're saying about him.
By the way, the chat is very funny right now. The chat is really kind of wisecracking on him.
I do like that he dresses nicer now, right? He's not got the untucked Scientology
See,
or Dianetic shirt on.
I can compliment somebody. He's going to get another compliment real quick. The guy in the car to the left is going to say something to him. Howdy, no one. Great to see you. He says, "Hey, you're looking sharp." The guy says, "Hey, you're looking sharp."
He's getting compliments on his nice suit. Just as I complimented him moments ago, right?
He'll try to stall out near the stoplights so that he'll try to stall out near the stoplights so that he can cross just as it's turning green. But it turns out I can traditionally outpace him. So, right, because there's no reason for him not to be walking right now.
Yes,
He's
I know
trying to
you're
wait
going to
until
try to
the
delay it, but your cult.
Oh, sorry.
Don't you want everybody to know about the cult of Scientology?
Yeah, now I'm going to start challenging him.
Are you mocking
rest
your
of the way
reactive
down.
mind still, Chad? How's our buddy Xenu, right? The galactic overlord that rounded up all the Thetans, put them in DC-10s in a frozen state, shipped them back to Earth, put them in volcanoes, and blew them up with hydrogen bombs. I apologize if you catch pneumonia. Don't worry, it's all fantasy. You can't actually catch pneumonia for knowing this.
So sometimes I make jokes to make myself laugh. Hopefully you've gotten used to that.
How are the doubt stats for the org coming along? Did you guys have a good potluck lunch yesterday?
So I'm going to keep on kind of razzing him as we go down the sidewalk. He's eventually, well, we're going to see that Scientologist that we saw leave the org earlier.
What's your stage? Auditing. Doesn't that seem strange that children in your church have to audit adults to tell them the most perverse things?
I'm
That feels
saying
like
that for
child
the
abuse.
people that are across the street. That guy right there, he's one of the part owners of the bar.
Are you allowed to talk about your church? If you can't be a free thinker, what do you think this bridge to total freedom is?
So, right, we just now see the Scientologist walk out of the imprint building. He's about to walk into the imprint building.
Anything positive to share about your cult? Anything positive about the cult of Scientology?
I think this is one of the younger
nothing
Cicala
positive
brothers.
about the cult of Scientology? So Chadwick just went into imprint, right? Our friend Chadwick lives here, right? So we just saw him.
So, right, so now he's entered into this building. Now, something that I know is he can walk straight through this building out to the alley, and then he'll go right back out to State Street, which is where I caught him, 10 minutes earlier before he started walking back. And I will tell you that 99 times out of 100, I'm going to do that. However, the way I was going to do it, I was going to walk up to the top of the block. If you remember opening day, there was that little parking lot across the street from Scientology. I was going to cut through there and then catch him in the back alley. But as I start walking up there, I find something else out.
Key himself in or badge himself in. Try to go out. We're going to watch.
Does anybody know what I've figured out? Does anybody see what's going on here?
Watch the Scientologists head back into their org. Oh, they've got the windows open. Let's get those back down.
So while I was away from the front of the org, they pulled the blinds up, which they never pull them up that fast. And we're going to find out. Let me get across here. A lot of traffic.
So still nobody in here, but we do have a new administrator at the desk, right? So there's a new admin person down here. We've got photos going on here. Oh, they had to open up for the photo shoot. but there's nobody in the cult today, so they have no new members in their cult. They'll be up here closing the blinds quickly.
So it was really because they had to get the photo shoot in that they brought those up. Now I'm going to stay over here because I want to keep these blinds
Have a good
down
day.
and cost them
Isn't
money
it
for their
interesting that you have to
photographer.
hide from the public?
The photographers cost them an hourly rate, so I'm not going to leave the org here. So Chadwick gets a free pass right now. He's able to go out and pass out flyers while I'm here causing
So
them money.
let me see if you can get that right. So you can see that we've got the photography gear here, right? The light shield and so on and so forth. Now, Chadwick has most likely gone out the back of that building. And again, I'm playing man-to-man defense today. So,
all right, folks. That's kind of where we're at for today. The one thing I haven't really shown you, on Saturday we saw one of the staff members kind of give a farewell element. So it looks as though one of the people that we're used to seeing here is going to be leaving Scientology. Any questions? Any comments? Criticisms? Critiques? What can I do better? What can I do worse? Are we still fans of the speed runs? Dorothy, what I can do, I don't want to give out other people's emails, but if you send me an email, I will give you, and you're okay with it, I can give your email to Israel. So it's just I don't want to give out anybody else's information if they haven't offered that. But Dorothy, if you feel comfortable, and you want to give me your email, I can forward you. I can give your email to Israel and let him know that you'd like to contact him. Let me see what else we've got going on here. All right. If again, and Fuzzy's got the email right there, right? And yeah, if you are interested and you're just fearful, questioning, want to know more information, please get a hold of me. Let me know. I'm more than happy to share whatever I can with you in regards to that process. All right, folks, let's call that a wrap for the evening. Fuzzy, where are we heading? Thank you, Manning 8. I appreciate that. And again, I do this. There's a couple of reasons I do that. If I'm out there for 2 hours, 8 hours, 5 hours, there's no reason why anybody after the speed or after the day would really want to watch what's going on there. All right, folks, let's head over to Liz Ferris's channel. And it looks like there's some legal news in regards to her father. And I'm guessing that has to do with the idea that we're looking for a donor. Let him know Windy sent you. And give her love and support as she's struggling for her own health as well as her family, right? In that she's trying to get her family back. So, all right, appreciate it, everybody being here tonight. Thank you so much. I will see you over in Liz's channel. Thanks, everybody. Bye bye.